Yo, 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 what's good? How y'all doing? How you guys doing? Okay. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let's get into this live today. Let's get into this live today. See? Let me see. So we're gonna do a little bit of a playoff prediction. I want to go through some predictions here because we got some pretty interesting first round matchups that I want to get into. Matter of fact, let me check them on my phone. Let me know when you guys are coming in. Make sure you check in. Let me send this out. Just a second here. Let me check my phone. What's good? What's good? Let me just get this real quick. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's give it like another minute or so, or 30 seconds or so. Shout out to Jersey in the building. I see you. Portland, Oregon in the building. Shout out to London in the building. We're going to get it going in the next 40 seconds or so. I'm not going to take too long out here because we got a lot of fire content dropping a little bit later today. So we want to get to that as quickly as possible. So I'm just getting the polls ready for you guys. All right. Let's give it 30 more seconds. Shout out to New York. All right, just a second here. Let me see this. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get into this here. People will catch up to the live. I'm sure whoever misses it will catch it a little bit later. So I don't want to waste you guys' time because we got a lot of content. Somebody says, Charles, do you keep the honey on deck to make these? Bro, you already know, bro. You already know. I came fully prepared for these dudes, man. You already know. But I don't want to talk about LeBron fans right now because we're going to be talking about them a little bit later with that damn Rich Paul and what he had to say. But anyway, all right. So, we got the playoffs coming up this weekend. We had the pretty big game yesterday between between the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. That was actually a very, very good game until Ja Morant got injured. I think Ja got injured. I think it was in the third quarter, or like 3 or 4 minutes left in the third. I know he got injured. He fell on his twisted his knee, not his knee, his ankle. But I don't remember the quarter exactly. But I know he got injured. But that was a very good game. But ultimately, the Golden State Warriors ended up winning that game. So now we know who they're going to be facing. So, all right, before we get into this, we actually put up a poll on the channel to ask the audience who they thought was going to win some of these series. So the first series we got is who we got? We got the Lakers versus the Wolves. I posted that on the chat. And out of the 300 people that have voted, obviously more people are going to vote on that. 61% say they got the Lakers beating the Wolves to the 39% of the people that they got the Wolves beating the Lakers. So that's what people voted for that series there. Then the next series was who wins between the Clippers and the Nuggets. 55% of the voters are voting for the Clippers, where 45% are voting for the Nuggets. Then the next series, I asked y'all, who do y'all think is going to win between the Rockets and the Warriors? 70% of y'all think the Warriors are going to win, and 30% of y'all think the Rockets are going to win. So that's what y'all got winning that series. Then we got the Celtics versus the Magic. 91% of y'all out of 360 voters, the poll has only been up for like 25 minutes, so I'm sure more people are going to vote. 91% of y'all got the Celtics beating the Magic to 9% for the Magic. Then we got the Knicks versus the Pistons. Let me just talk about this for a second before I give y'all the results from that poll. And make sure y'all go vote on the poll. We got that pinned on the community section of the channel. I think that the Knicks versus the Pistons has the potential to be probably the most exciting first-round matchup of any series. I know that's blasphemous because we always usually think the best first-round matchups are in the Western Conference. But let me tell y'all something. I think that Knicks versus Pistons series is going to be super entertaining. Number one, it's going to be a defensive slugfest. That's number one. Number two, it is going to be a very, very physical series. And I think that this series has the potential to get chippy. When you got guys like Isaiah Stewart and all of these guys, and you can see that the Pistons are trying to embody that old bad boy, what is it, the former bad boy era Pistons and all of that. I think that's going to be a super, super exciting series to watch. And I'm going to be glued to my TV watching that series. So I'm super excited for that. Out of the people that voted for that series, so far 66% got the Knicks winning to 34% for the Pistons. Now, the last one we got is going to be between the Bucks and the Pacers. And out of the voters so far, 72% of y'all think that the Bucks are going to win that series, to the 28% for the Pacers. Let me just quickly update the votes, because the votes change every few seconds here. So people have, all right, so let's go through some of these first round matchups. So let's start with the Lakers versus the Wolves. Okay. So 300 people have voted on that one. They got the Lakers winning 61-39. Here's my prediction for that series. I think that that's going to be a first round upset. I'm not hating on LeBron and nothing like that. I think it's going to be a first round upset. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win this series. I could be wrong. The Lakers could probably go out there and beat them. But I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win this series. And I'll give you guys a few reasons. Number one, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been one of the hottest teams in the last month and a half of the season. I think they finished off the season, and I just want to verify, the Minnesota Timberwolves finished off the season winning 8 out of their last 10. They won 3 games in a row, and they were one of the hottest teams to finish off the season. So they are playing great basketball. That's number one. Number two, don't forget that Luka eliminated Anthony Edwards last year in the playoffs. Don't forget that. Number three, so I think Anthony Edwards is going to be motivated. Number three, I think that we're not giving enough credit to the perimeter defenders that the Minnesota Timberwolves possess. The Minnesota Timberwolves have enough defense on a perimeter to be able to switch. Okay. They got Jaden McDaniels, who's a great defender with great size and great length. You have Anthony Edwards, who is an all NBA caliber defender. Great defender. And you have Julius Randle. Okay. So they got players that can defend. I think one of the biggest X factors, or probably the biggest X factor for the Minnesota Timberwolves, is going to be the play of Julius Randle. Is Julius Randle going to be able to step up and essentially replace those minutes and production that Karl Anthony Towns gave the Minnesota Timberwolves last season? You have that. Now, I will concede this. I believe that the Lakers clearly have the better offense. I believe that the Lakers have more the better individual players in terms of, I think if we're looking at the top 5 players in this series, it would be, in no order right now, it would be LeBron, Ant-Man, Luka Doncic, Julius Randle, Austin Reeves. I think if we look at what team has the best players, it would be the best player on both teams, I think, is Luka Doncic. So the Lakers have the best player. I think Luka will be the best player on the floor. That's just my opinion. I think after that, you have Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, who's probably the next best player. Then I think you have LeBron, and then you have Austin Reeves. So for this thing to be a real series, I personally believe that Julius Randle needs to have a very good series. And by very good, I think Julius Randle needs to average anywhere between 22 to 24 points a game just to be able to go along with Anthony Edwards. Now, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, I think, is going to play limited minutes this series. If y'all remember last year, Rudy Gobert got cooked so bad by Luka, they had to take him off the court. Why? Because Luka was doing to Rudy Gobert what he was essentially doing to Ivica Zubac in them Clippers series. He would get the switch and it would be barbecued chicken. He would absolutely abuse him. I think he hit a game winner on Rudy Gobert, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know how the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be able to exploit the defensive prowess of Rudy Gobert. Because if he's going to be on the floor and Luka is going to be taking advantage of that matchup, it's going to be a problem. So the Minnesota Timberwolves have a problem they need to deal with because Luka is known to destroy big men whenever he gets the switch, right? So either Minnesota's defensive strategy is going to be that they don't switch and they fight over those screens and then risk the player rolling to the basket. I can see the Lakers potentially putting Luka and LeBron James in some pick and roll action and then let LeBron be the roll man and then make a decision out of the pocket. Or if they're going to keep Rudy Gobert on the floor, they're going to have some serious problems. And if they're going to do that, Luka's going to average 35 points per game this series, and it's going to be a quick series. So I think Minnesota needs to understand how to play that matchup. Now, Ty Lue liked to keep Ivica Zubac on the floor because he could control the glass and he can deter shots in the paint, right? And he could also punish you on the other end. That would be the pro of having a big man on the floor if you're Minnesota, because the big man can now go down the court, post up whatever small forward is, or whatever forward, whoever it is that's playing a 4 to 5 that's guarding him, and he would barbecue chicken him, create double teams, create all kind of havoc, etc. So that was the pro of having a big man on the floor. The problem is, can you rely on Rudy Gobert to give you 18 to 20 points a night and actually be a threat in the post? I don't know if we can do that. Rudy Gobert is not known to be a defensive stalwart. So if the Minnesota Timberwolves do not figure out that matchup with Rudy Gobert, it will be a quick series, and the best player in that series will be Luka Doncic. You can book it. Get on Angry. Oh, Hoops fans, man, they never invite me. I don't know what's going on. They never invite me. Shout out to them. They never invite me. Anyway, so my prediction is I think the Wolves will win, but if I see that they don't have any real strategy for having Rudy Gobert on the floor, I think it's going to be a quick series for the Lakers, and I think the Lakers will win in 6 games. So I'm going to be paying attention to that first game and see how they play Rudy Gobert on the floor and how the Lakers attack that matchup. But if they don't have a real matchup for Rudy, unless the only way I think they're going to be able to handle the switch with Rudy on Luka is this, and it's going to create more problems. I think if they get a switch and Rudy is on Luka, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves need to double Luka. But the problem then becomes, if you double Luka, the Lakers have 2 other playmakers. 2. And they have 3 shooters on the floor, not including Luka. So if I'm JJ Redick, my starting lineup will be comprised of Luka, Hachimura, LeBron, Austin Reeves. Those guys have been known to burn you with those corner threes. So if you double Luka, it means somebody's open. And if Luka's passing out of that double team to either Reeves or LeBron, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be barbecue chicken. So they need to figure out a matchup for Rudy Gobert. That's if they don't figure that out, it's going to be a quick series. Luka will hurt them. He is too dangerous on those switches. So my prediction is the following. I think the Wolves will win, but I'm going to watch game 1. And if the Wolves don't have any real strategy for that Luka matchup on that switch, I'm picking the Lakers to win this series in 5 games. 5 games. That's what I think. I think if they do come up with a solution for that particular action, then I think the Wolves can win the series. That's my thought. Let's move to the next series. Also, I want to give you guys an updated results from the poll. So let me see. No, hold on. It's not. Let me see. It's not updating. So let me check again. Let me tell y'all some of the new results that has come in from the polls for the playoff. Okay, so we got some new results. So we just did the Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And let me see. Hold on. Yeah, so out of 400 voters, 61% are still picking the Lakers to beat the Wolves. I think that's a safe bet. All right, so let's move to the next series, which is the Clippers versus the Nuggets. This is going to be a big series as well. So out of the 370 voters so far that have voted, 55% are voting for the Clippers to 45% that are voting for the the Denver Nuggets. Now, I want to say this quickly. Some people have been sending me clips of what Rich Paul said on Pat McAfee's show. We're dropping that video after this live. Y'all want to watch that video, stick around to the channel. We got that video coming up. People already been hitting me up. We got that video coming on a little bit later. But anyway, let's get to this next series. So that's the Clippers versus the Nuggets. So let me tell y'all something. If Mike Malone was the head coach, and if you asked me this question at the beginning of the season, who would win in a playoff series between the Clippers and the Nuggets, I would say the Clippers would be absolutely destroyed. Hey, guys, let's try to get these likes up to 100 likes, guys. Let's try to get these likes up to 100 likes. I would say the Clippers would get destroyed if you had asked me this question at the beginning of the season by the Denver Nuggets, because they would have too much continuity. Nikola Jokic would be too dangerous. So therefore, I would go with them. Kawhi Leonard's health would have been uncertain. I would have gone with the Nuggets. But looking at the fact that the Clippers are 18-3 out of their last 21 games. Looking at the fact that they peaked right at the end of the season. The Clippers finished the season with a season high for them, 8 wins in a row. They won 8 games in a row, which basically meant that they were winning for damn near a month. They hadn't tasted a loss in almost a month. So they were playing fantastic basketball. The next reason I would also be very excited about the Clippers is during the absence of Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell was able to develop into damn near an all-star caliber guard. He was damn near an all-star. And when Norman Powell was clicking before all-star break, he was really clicking. He was a legitimate scoring option. Then he got hurt, and now he's trying to find his legs and all of that. But Norman Powell is a bona fide player, and I believe he has his confidence. Then we look at Ivica Zubac. I think Ivica Zubac is going to be a real factor in this series, and I'm going to tell y'all why. The reason I think Ivica Zubac is going to be a factor in this particular series is because he is going to be able to force Nikola Jokic to play defense. He's going to force him to play defense, which means that he will be able to wear down Nikola Jokic to some extent during the course of a series, because Nikola Jokic will have to do a lot on the offensive side of the floor, but he would also have to guard his opponent. Number one. Number two, Ivica Zubac was one of the candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. So he was a legitimate defensive player at the center position. He ain't going to be able to guard Nikola Jokic, but it definitely not just going to be barbecue chicken all the way to the end of the series. I think he'll be able to do a good enough job on Nikola Jokic. So you have the Ivica Zubac aspect. You have James Harden. James Harden was an all-star this season. James Harden has been playing very well. There were also some comments that James Harden made about, we got a different team. Let me tell y'all something. Paul George and Russell Westbrook being gone and Kawhi being hurt at the beginning of the season allowed James Harden to get into a rhythm this year and really understand how to run the team. And I think that the reason this Clippers team is better than last year's Clippers team is because, and I said it last year, this year's team, they know their roles. Last year, it was, is it my turn? Is it your turn? Is it his turn? Is it my turn? They had too many chefs in the kitchen. Way too many chefs. Now, everybody knows their role. Even James Harden said it. Another reason I'll pick the Clippers, they're much more improved defensively. This year, the Clippers' defensive rating, they're the third rated defense in the entire NBA. The third. If you look at the Denver Nuggets, no, I don't have their stats here. They're definitely not. I don't think they're not in the top five. I don't think they are. So they're the third rated defense in the NBA. And we also got to give some credit to Jeff Van Gundy. And finally, one of the biggest reasons I think they're going to win is because Kawhi Leonard looks healthy. Kawhi Leonard looks healthy. And when Kawhi is healthy, he is just as dangerous as any player in a playoff series. He is as dangerous as anybody in the playoffs when he's healthy. So you got arguably the most dangerous player on your team. They're playing with a lot of continuity. They've won a lot of games. There's some turmoil in the Nuggets locker room. They just switched their head coach. We're not 100% sure how well Jamal Murray's going to play and if he's going to be the Jamal Murray that we know. So therefore, I'm going to pick the Clippers to win that series. I'm picking the Clippers to win that series. Let's move to the next series. We got the Rockets versus the Warriors. So of the people that have voted, 68% are voting for the Warriors to the 32%. And I can understand those people voting for the Warriors because playoff Jimmy Butler is a real thing. Playoff Jimmy Butler is a real thing. Y'all saw that last night. So Stephen Curry has a legitimate running mate. You have Draymond Green, who was playing defensive player of the year caliber defense. So I can understand that. But the Houston Rockets are really good. And I don't know if y'all saw the game between the Houston Rockets and the Warriors the last time they met up. That was a very, very entertaining game. A very, very, very entertaining game. The only issue with the Rockets is scoring. But Şengün is a real problem. So in this series, as much as I like playoff Jimmy, I'm going to go with the Rockets. And one of the reasons I'm going to go with the Rockets is because I believe that they're going to control the boards. And I believe that their defense is going to keep them in the series long enough to allow their offense to catch up. So for this series, I'm actually picking the Rockets. I know it's not the popular pick, but I'm going to go for the Rockets to win that series. So I got the Rockets. So far, I'm picking the Wolves, although I'll change my pick depending on how they play game one. Then I'm picking the Rockets and I'm picking the Clippers. So let's move to the next series. Celtics Magic, nothing to discuss. I'm picking the Celtics to win that series. No brainer there. Pistons versus the Knicks. This is the interesting one. Shout out to my New Yorkers in the building. I'm going to be in New York next month. Shout out to y'all. We're going to be in a town. I can't wait to be in New York City. It's been a long time. So shout out to the Knicks fans. Shout out to the people watching this from New York. Shout out to them. Y'all know y'all my people. But son, something is telling me that those Pistons are looking dangerous. Something is telling me that those Pistons may surprise the Knicks. I don't know. Is Tom Thibodeau going to also play his bench? Or is he going to run the Knicks starters into the ground to the point where these guys are going to be getting hurt? I don't know. But I think this series is going to be a toss-up. I was about to pick the Pistons, but I'm going to say the Knicks win this series, but it will not shock me if the Knicks lose. It wouldn't shock me. The Knicks, the number one thing that's been holding, like, if you look at this Knicks team, the number one thing the Knicks always need and miss is a bona fide wing scorer. That's the one. See, if the Knicks had like an Anthony Edwards or a Jason Tatum or a Luka Doncic, can for no given reason go out there and start making boneheaded plays. So I got the Knicks winning that, but it wouldn't surprise me that the Pistons win. And the final series between the Bucks and the Pacers, I got the Bucks winning that series. So this is my playoff prediction. You guys make sure you go vote on the poll on a community board. Y'all let me know who y'all pick there. Obviously, we don't know who OKC is going to play. Whoever they play, I'm picking them to win as well. Whoever the Cavs play, I'm picking them to win as well. That series there. Also, be on the lookout. We got that video dropping when we're going to be getting at Rich Paul for his cap and ass for going up there and saying that the Miami Heat were not a big three. Be on the lookout for that video. We got that dropping a little bit later. Anyway, appreciate you guys for being a part of the live, and we're going to catch y'all later, and I'm out. Peace.